Ella.
Hi, nice to meet you, Fiona.
My first port of call is a farmhouse in rural South Devon, where I've come to meet 24-year-old Ella Edmondson and her mother, Jennifer Saunders.
I'm her mother. And this is my mother, Jennifer, who's feeding little old Whiskey, the dog, some bread and
white
cheese.
bread, because she's got no teeth.
She hasn't got any teeth.
Also round the kitchen table is Jennifer's middle daughter, Beattie, and her husband, comedian Adrian Edmondson. What I can't get my head around is at the peak of her career writing Ab Fab, Jennifer Saunders had 3 children under the age of 10.
How could you get on with writing when you had small children? I mean, I write and I've got small children, so I try and paste it in my life. But how did you organise that?
Well, I had aid. It was very good. And I would generally write at night.
But we used to, in those days, used to generally, one of us would work and then the other wouldn't, and we'd organise them series so that they would never be at the same time.
Yeah. And writing, I would do it if it got to a panic mode. I'm not very disciplined at writing, so I would generally get to a panic mode and I would do it once they'd gone to bed. I would do it through the night. I think I create on the hoof. I don't think I like to have something completely written before. I used to think it was a sort of, but I don't think it's an accident anymore. I think I do it on purpose because I like to work that way.
There was a time, I can't remember whether it was Ab Fab or Jam Jerusalem, or maybe it was Ab Fab because I think we were a bit smaller. And we were coming from here up to London because the next day she had a read-through for the script. And they'd been calling her saying, please can we have the scripts, Jennifer, so that we can print them out and all the actors can have a script. She was like, yeah, and it didn't happen. And so the night before we were driving up and me and Beattie had pens and paper and she was dictating to us the script as we drove up to the screen.
I can't believe you said that. Oh no, I'm hideously embarrassed.
An unexpected lesson here, then. The Edmondson children seem to have positively embraced the eccentricities of their parents' working life. So the fact that deadline was one of the first words my children learnt isn't necessarily an indictment of my parenting skills. A supportive partner is another crucial ingredient. It was fortunate that Jennifer Saunders' husband, Adrian Edmondson, and his writing partner, Rick Mail, were happy to adopt a more conventional approach to the working day when they were writing the groundbreaking television series, The Young Ones.
It was nice how you and Rick used to write, because they used to arrive at the house. Rick would come in and they would start talking about the writing and they would sit and they would write it and then Rick would go home. And it was extraordinary, but that was a whole
It's a very masculine way of
proper creative day.
I mean, we only used to work a 3-hour day because we thought that's as long as you can be creative.
Yeah. I tried to do that and got nothing done at all. We hadn't even finished the first magazine by the time 3 hours were up.
We were also very dutiful fathers in that we took our kids to school, started work at 10, sort of worked, had a bit of lunch, worked an hour in the afternoon, and just in time to pick the kids up from school again.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, it was a child management thing.
Yeah.
I sometimes wonder whether overexposure to my creative troughs may put my children off following a similar career path. I'm heartened by the example of Ella Edmondson, the oldest daughter of Adrian Edmondson and Jennifer Saunders. Far from being put off by insider knowledge of the entertainment industry, she's working hard to forge a career as a singer. She sees her father's experience as a positive advantage, so much so that he's become her manager.
But if Ella has a bad night, do you talk her through it? Is that what a manager does, or is that what a dad does?
I think you just take that on the chin, don't you?
Yeah, you don't really
just
talk about it. And I'd say if we spoke the next day or something, I'd mention the fact that it was rubbish. But I wouldn't go on, we wouldn't have a huge discussion about how to get through things like that or something, because you have to expect them sometimes.
I feel guilty, obviously, about being involved in sort of setting it up, you know, even in a peripheral way.
It's only a moment's sort of pissed offness. And then actually, if you have a nice life, you have a nice life. And you come back and you cuddle your dog and you sit in front of the telly and you feet up and have a drink. If Dawn and I have a rubbish gig or something, we go and have a drink and a laugh. And it doesn't actually affect your psyche.
Meanwhile, in a pub in East London,
me! Joseph, there's something I've got to tell you.
I'm pregnant.
Wait, you're a virgin, Mary. You're still a virgin, Mary, so how can this have happened?
Miracle?
Lady Garden is a 6-woman comedy group featuring Beatty Edmondson, the 23-year-old daughter of Adrian Edmondson and Jennifer Saunders. Despite having only recently graduated from university, Beatty has already performed more than 60 gigs with Lady Garden and has been approached by the BBC. I meet her with her parents and older sister Ella round the kitchen table of their South Devon home to ask about the advantages of being born into comic royalty.
But it must help to see that, you know, to be surrounded by people who've made a living from writing comedy, because that's not a very common occurrence.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, of course it's helpful in that way, yeah.
It's really, you never really think about it, but if you think of your
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
people you've grown up around, adults, most of them
Are comedians.
are comedians. That's funny, I don't think of them like that. I didn't even think of Dawn like that, but she is. She's a comedian. Yes.
I've never found her that funny.
Well, I guess in that respect, I've watched a lot of comedy in the making, I guess. And, I mean, I've been on the set and I've watched a lot of comedy.
You've been in French and Saunders. She has a small baby.
Yes, they used to be the extras always.
Yeah.
Used to try and get them as little children in most things. Period costume generally.
Yeah.
Skipping along.
Yeah.
It was always fun.
This practical experience may sound exciting, but film sets hold no mystery for the Edmondson children. What really counts is the combined wisdom and knowledge of the business that Jennifer Saunders and Adrian Edmondson can offer them.
Doing the comedy circuit like that's quite a traditional route.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever thought about doing it any other way. I think because live is so great because you get an instant reaction to sketches, so you know it's funny or it's not. And I think we just want to do as much of it as possible so we can get a nice just pile of material. So we have lots of things to draw
Once you go
from.
to telly, it just eats your material so fast.
Yeah.
You know, it's just gone.
just
All
gone.
those years. They're gone. Gone. All your best gags gone.
Yeah. You have to think of something else. You don't know if it's funny or not.
Well, when Dawn and I started the comic strip, we didn't realise that you could do the same act every single night. So we started to try and make up other things, and honestly, the quality went way, way down until there was virtually a Thunderbirds joke eventually, until we noticed that everyone else was doing the same thing every night, and so we actually developed an act. But that was horrendous. I used to actually pray that nobody came. I used to look out at the audience and think, nobody come, please, nobody come. Because you just didn't want to have to perform in front of people. Yet that was your job. Strange.